As many of you know, Tracy and I, we've been living full time in our RV. And I'll say that the number one comment that we get from people that we meet on the road is, man, you guys are living the dream, which then leads to another question. That being, how can you guys live in something so small? And then that evolves to, well, what would you recommend for us? Well, our answers are yes, we are living the dream. And our recommendation is to pick an RV that works well for you. Because I tell you what, no matter what you choose, you are going to make some compromises. There's size, there's features, there's always going to be a compromise. And that's why I'm so excited today, because today on RV Cast, I get to have a conversation with Ben Kaiser. He's a franchise owner and equity partner in Fireside RV Rental. And the reason that I'm so excited about today's show is that Fireside RV Rental, it partners so well with what we're doing here at CurbNTurf. And what you're going to take away from this interview today is some professional tips. Number one, for those wanting to get a taste of the RV life and want a real RV test drive, and I'm not talking about just leaving the lot and driving it around the block, right? This is a real RV test drive where you can get out and go camping with it. And then two, for those that are just wanting a great vacation without the huge investment of purchasing their own RV, then Fireside RV Rental's a great option for you to dip your toes in the water, so to speak. So welcome, Ben. It's so great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mr. Dave. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, hey, you bet. And I'm really looking forward to the benefit that the audience is going to get from our discussion. Just in a nutshell, give us an overview of what Fireside RV Rentals is all about.
Yes, sir. So we rent out RVs primarily. Like at my location, it's more of a destination location. So people are coming here to vacation and they will just rent an RV. Typically, most of my fleet requires is more of a pull behind trailers because they're coming with their families and they're wanting to be stationary. Whereas like North Alabama, they do more drivable RVs, Class Cs, Class As, things such as that. The Huntsville area, a lot of the northern branches. But here is more of a destination place, so they want to be stationary. So that's why I primarily have more pull behinds. But people just rent here. We do a full setup, everything, sewer, power, water, everything. They just step in, camp, have a blast, leave, and then we take care of the rest.
So your location is more centered on, you'll actually take the RV to a location, set it up for them, they arrive, camp in it, and then leave, rather than coming and picking it up and driving it somewhere and doing all the setup themselves.
Yes, sir. I would say that the higher percentage of locations, they do rent and carry it to whichever destination. Here, I'm closer to a 92% delivery, but we'll even deliver, like next month, I'll be in Mississippi. So that's a whole nother state. And we do deliveries from all around, literally the Southeast. So delivery isn't really just local. We do a lot of deliveries even out of state.
Well, one of the things that I love about that, Ben, is there's a big learning curve with RV. I mean, you've got to know how to hook up the sewer, hook up the water, how to dump the sewer tanks, all that jazz. And getting your toes wet, so to speak, by just showing up and having the RV to see if that setup is something that you would like. That's a game changer without having to worry about all of the, oh, hey, do I have to read a big manual on how to use this thing and all that? That can be a really good way to introduce people into the RV life.
That's right. That's correct. And we get a lot of attention from like the travel ball teams. They'll rent from us. Big events, they rent from us too. They'll give RVs for their staff. And that's been very helpful. And again, it might be in another state. And so we'll carry a fleet of 10, 15, 20 RVs, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours away and have everything set up for them ready to go and then try to troubleshoot as needed if they have any issues.
Right. Oh, that's great. So tell us a little bit about your personal background. What did you do before Fireside RV Rental, and how did you come about joining forces with the group?
Yes, sir. So I started off in student ministry, and I was in student ministry for about 12 years. On the side of student ministry, I had the entrepreneuring bug, and that was a calling of mine as well. And I started buying daycare centers throughout the Southeast with a handful of partners, people that I had met within the church. And so we bought 10 daycare centers throughout the Southeast, had sold my side of that, got back into student ministry, and just was praying about the next thing because I knew I was probably going to long term, run a business of some sort. And honestly, Dave, I don't really have a lot of business background, didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to rent RVs. So I was looking at buying an RV and then renting it out on, the platforms and so forth. And then that's when I kind of ran into Fireside, met a guy at the church. He introduced me to Fireside. And for the price of one RV, to open up a location, you get unlimited RVs because they could send you X amount one month, X amount another month. You never know how many they're going to send you. Pick and choose what you want. And then we got platform discounts. So I was like, for the price of one RV, unlimited RVs, plus these platforms is where I'm going to get a lot of my rentals. So I get a discount. So I dove in, and then having the support side of them really was beneficial. So I started renting out RVs, and then I used my background of acquisitions through the daycare centers with RV rentals. And again, this time I was kind of solo and didn't really, I had a group of partners helping me structure deals in the past. And so I dipped my toes into taking over my first other RV rental business outside of Fireside and merged it into my branch. That went over very well. And then that led me to purchasing one in Orlando. We had a contract with Disney. We were one of 4 allowed in. Had that one, kind of pretty much automated the system at here and there, because when you have your drivers and cleaners in place, and then Fireside does my reservations for me, it's pretty effortless. So that's when I just started scaling and then started taking over other businesses that were local, because it is a tough industry to get into. And so people at best, I would say, are knee deep in it. Fireside's waist deep. And so I'm still learning, and I'm 2 years in, and just, some days I feel like I'm treading water and don't know what in the world I'm doing. And then other days I'm like, man, I could retire doing this. So
Right.
depends on the day.
So give us an idea of the source of RVs for Fireside. Do you have your own fleet, or do you manage people that own an RV but may not be using it or want to rent it out in the off season?
Yes, sir. So consignment owners, we have several people from literally around the United States. They're reaching out to the corporate side of Fireside saying, please manage my RV. They're usually pairing that with a local franchisee. That way the RV owner can still use it however many times they need it a year. And then I don't care if my consignment owners use it 10 times a year, because I've got a fleet of RVs. So if that one's off, with the owner, then the customer has a whole fleet to choose from, an inventory. So we really don't run into issues with that. And they provide us with the RVs. Like I said, some months I might get 5 being sent to me. And I'm just calling that lead and figuring out more about what their RV is. And here in Gulf Shores is kind of specific as far as location. Like here, with it being a destination, they just want that pool behind with bunk beds, because Gulf Shores is a family-friendly beach. Whereas like a Huntsville, Alabama, primarily drivables, because they're riding to a destination like mine. When I was in Orlando, a mix of all things. You just kind of get to know your area, and then again, they'll start sending them to you. You can turn them down as needed. And that's why I turn down pretty much any unit if it doesn't have bunk beds in it, because again, this is a family-oriented area.
What percentage of the people that actually rent from Fireside are in larger groups, families, or extended families?
I would say upwards to 75 to 80% are families traveling. And again, the travel ball industry is pretty big for Fireside, because if they're renting a hotel, it probably doesn't have a kitchen in it. The RV has a kitchen, so they can save money there. Not to mention, would you rather stay in a hotel, or would you rather have just your own free space to hang out underneath the awning and just hang out by the picnic table and have family time?
And be at the destination place where you're going, rather than staying at a hotel miles away and driving to, for instance, the beach every day, and not having the ability to, oh, hey, I need to take a break, go take a nap, or let's go make lunch or whatever. That's a great idea. I'll tell you, Ben, one of my fondest memories as a child, and I don't know if this is the same setup, but it's when we went to Disney World. We got into the campground, and we were in our family RV. And being there at Disney World in the campground, I mean, it was fantastic.
I love staying. If we're going to Disney, we're staying in the campground. And I'm not a theme park guy. I don't like being around big crowds. So I'd rather hang back in the campground. And you probably then, the same as it is now, it's cool seeing all the animals come up to you, like wild turkeys literally walking up
Right.
your campsite and seeing the deer and everything else. It's just neat. It's a cool experience.
That's great. So there are a lot of RV rental companies that have a national presence. What is it that sets Fireside apart from the other RV rental outfits?
Yeah, I think the biggest name in this field, and it's a great company, is Cruise America. I will say that Cruise America, you're limited to just drivables. They don't have awnings on their RVs unless they've changed that policy since the last time I've checked it out. They don't have slides on their RVs, so and they're smart for that because the awning and the slides probably the number one thing to tear up first. So
Right.
I get why they do that, but we kind of try to go the extra mile. And if we have to do that repair, that's fine. But we want that family to have that extra space. We want them to have that awning to enjoy. Although there's been many a times, Mr. Dave, where I've just wanted to zip tie that awning and pull that plug there to where they can't ever run that thing out. But thankfully, knock on wood, I've had very minimal issues for the most part.
And I'm assuming that Fireside has a much broader option for, oh, hey, it seems like every time I see a Cruise America on the road, I've never used their service, but it seems like they're all Class C, pretty much the same units, standardized so that their repairs can be the same throughout. And so you don't get the variety of, oh, maybe this trip I'd like to try Airstream Bambi because it's just me and my wife, where next trip I may want to try a 30-foot with bunk beds and everything that way. I assume that there's a lot more variety through Fireside.
That's correct. And I would say they're cheaper options too, because right now Fireside, I believe, has a little over 70 locations across the US and it's growing. Those locations will meet you wherever they need to be. And chances are you're probably close to one. And I would say that in a lot of cases, the Fireside location, just to help create that experience, they don't make much on the delivery. And in my case, Dave, I'm happy to admit this, but I actually lose money on delivery. So I pay my drivers, try to pay them well, and I want to try to get that quote down as cheap as possible.
That's amazing, and that's definitely points to the customer service. And so the concept of the Fireside RV rental, it can be an opportunity for those that are entrepreneurial themselves and may want to open up a franchise. It can be an opportunity for people that own an RV, but they're just paying monthly storage and letting it sit, which is not the best thing to do. And they could do the consignment. What advice would you have for somebody that has that entrepreneurial spirit and may want to open a franchise, or is that even available?
Yes, sir. Depending on the area, because a lot of the territories are getting taken up. He bases a territory off of a 50,000 population. And so depending on where those units are sitting, if it interferes with another location, then that has to really be at the discretion of the person that owns that location. Like for my case, I allowed one about 30 minutes down the street, well, about 35 minutes down the street, because we work together on event. We can work together on events. I can use them if I'm booked up, or vice versa. All their units are booked up and they need to rent from me. So I see it as a kind of a plus thing, actually being closer to a location. But they definitely, want to make sure to get the permission of the people that own that territory. But yeah, once if you're wanting to get into that industry, anybody can just buy an RV and place it on those platforms and rent them out, and probably do quite well with it. But you'll pay a lot higher percentage to those platforms, whereas Fireside gets almost a 50% discount, and in some cases less than a 50% discount than what most people are paying on those platforms.
Right. So, for somebody that owns an RV and they may be renting it out on like RV Share or Outdoorsy, some of those national brands, could they still post their RV on multiple sites?
Yes, sir. And I have a lot of people when they realize how much work's involved with, getting it to the campground, setting everything up like you were talking about. They'll try renting it out on the platforms, and then they'll call me. Usually it's about less than 6 months, and they'll say, "Will you handle everything?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And I give them a very reasonable cut and percentage out of everything. And
Right.
got my drivers in place, my cleaners in place to where they're taking care of most of everything. And then the RV owner just gets a check cut to them.
Sounds like a win-win-win.
Yes, sir. And ironically enough, Dave, I this is something that I'm seeing as a trend too. I see a lot of RV owners actually renting from us. They don't want to haul their RV across 2 or 3 different states. And I get a high volume of rentals from RV owners. And usually and those are the ones a lot of times that will come pick up. They don't want delivery. And they'll come pick that RV up. And how I know all this is we usually quiz them. If they're going to pick it up, my stipulation is, do you have any RV experience? Have you ever driven one before? And if they say yes, I'm like, that's fine. You can carry this, to wherever you need to go. And a lot of those are saying, yeah, we own one or we own 2 RVs. We just don't want to haul ours across 2 different.
Sure.
So
yeah, which makes a huge difference, because somebody out of California that wants to go to, for instance, Florida for a family outing, to either pull their bumper pull or drive their self-contained RV all in one, that's a heck of a lot more expensive than a couple of airline tickets and then picking up an RV and enjoying it while they're out across the country.
That's right. And I'm one of those guys too, Dave. Like if I'm going with my family, I don't want to worry about a flat tire. I don't want to worry about, anything other than just getting to that destination safely. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not hauling an RV. I'm calling a location because we're friends with a lot of the other franchisees. We all connect pretty regularly. And so I would call them and have them set me up an RV. And that way my family and I can just get there and go. And I don't have to do all these checkpoints of the RV prior.
That's fantastic, Ben. There's some great ideas that we're offering to our audience that, either they don't own an RV and want to see what it's like, or perhaps they do own an RV, but want to be a little bit more economical if they're taking that big trip that they may not want to make the commitment of hauling their own RV across the country. Some great ideas. How do you see the partnership that we have, the marketing partnership between Fireside and CurbNTurf? How do you see us working together and offering a lot of benefit to those that are renting an RV?
Yes, sir. I like going back to that first example of the travel ball crowd. Like, you have sites, listed on your website that they can effectively rent that site and then rent an RV. And so I think that's a very cost-effective way. But also, I'm just not a hotel guy, Dave. Like, I get the space that you get in an RV. And so the spaces that you guys already have and partnerships and connections with to be out in the great outdoors. I mean, I'm very much, I try to be as intentional as I can with my boys and teaching them about the outdoors. I grew up in the outdoors. I'm a farm boy. We used to raise 50,000 chickens every 6.5 weeks. And so, being outdoors is important, hunting, fishing, all of those things. And so I love to get in the great outdoors. And sometimes these campgrounds are booked up. And I think that, what you have is an alternative. I think it's smart. I think it's great. I think you're only going to grow. And I say, I tell people a lot of times, before you buy an RV, see if you like it first. So rent it out. Take a trip, rent a site off of your website and just have it set up there if you don't want to haul it, either way. But I think it's an easy and cost-effective way to get in the great outdoors and making memories with your family.
The key takeaways that I've gotten from my review is really the ease of being able to test out an RV. And I mentioned in the very beginning an RV test drive. This is not driving it around the block. This is actually camping in it, staying in it for a few days or a few weeks for that matter, and really getting an immersive experience. I mean, some RVs, you're dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars. You want to get it right. You really want to be able to test the waters before you jump into that size of an investment. Hey, thanks so much, Ben, for taking the time to introduce the concept of Fireside RV, and for also how we integrate together very well to give people that fantastic experience.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Mr. Dave.
You bet. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure introducing Fireside RV Rental to our audience and letting you in on this great option for exploring and enjoying RVing. So thanks again, Ben, and we wish you the best of success moving forward, and all my best, really, man. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you much. Same to you, Mr. Dave.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of RV Cast. We hope you enjoyed hearing about our latest adventures on the road.
And don't forget, if you're itching to explore unique and interesting RV destinations, be sure to download the CurbNTurf app.
That's right, CurbNTurf, it's your go-to for finding those hidden gems off the beaten path. And hey, if you own property and you want to share your slice of paradise with fellow travelers, why not become a host yourself?
Absolutely. Just head over to CurbNTurf.com/start hosting to get started, or reach out to us for more information.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss a future episode, so be sure to subscribe to RV Cast so that you never miss a beat.
Until next time, happy trails and safe travels.
We'll see you on the road.